most important parts of Fun for Life's philosophy for training dogs is the simple statement, it's the dog's story. What does this mean? It means that we have to respond to the needs of our dogs and not our own needs. For example, we might want the dog to do agility. This really appeals to us, but the dog is very fearful with all those dogs tearing around over jumps and things. So it will not happen, and we need to adjust our goals so that we can cater for our dog's needs. You may want to go and take your dog to the dog beach and have your dog run and enjoy being with other dogs. Your dog may be reactive to other dogs, so that is not right for your dog. You may need to keep your dog at home and devise enriching activities for the dog to do at home. You also must acknowledge the limits of the breed of your dog. For example, a beagle you're never going to take to run around the countryside with you because they'll be off in no time after a scent. And you'd never want a pug to go on a 20-30 kilometre hike with you. So, always remember, it's the dog's story. Management is the second part to the Fun for Life training philosophy. Management means to avoid problems with our dogs, we manage them. For example, your dog barks and rushes at the fence when the postman delivers the mail. So, you don't stand there and yell at the dog for chasing the postman. You keep the dog inside, close the windows and wait till the postman has gone. If your dog is reactive to people walking past your house and barks at them, at those high traffic times, such as when the children are coming home from school, you keep your dog inside behind closed windows. Always manage problems. That way you don't have to build a negative association for your dog. If you are having children come and visit, it's always a good idea for the safety of the children and the safety of your dog to put your dog away. If you have a crate-trained dog, you can put your dog in the crate with lots of chew toys to while away the time. Acknowledgement. This means acknowledging the dog when they are doing the right thing, or at least not being naughty. Yes. For example, Co-Pilot and Specs are here, and this is not a normal position for them to be on a table like this. So I'm going to acknowledge them for staying there. Good girls. Yes. And I'm going to reinforce those behaviours. In puppy class, we stress the importance of playing the Paws of Distinction game. And this game involves the person acknowledging when the dog is not being naughty. For example, the dog is not chewing your shoelaces, so you say, yes, and quickly give the dog a treat. Yes. This way you can reinforce those behaviours you want and ignore or manage the behaviours you don't want. For example, you want your dog to lie calmly beside you on a mat watching TV. So what you have to do is mark that behaviour Yes, and give the dogs a treat. If you don't have any treats, a good girl, good boy will suffice. The fourth component of Fun for Life's philosophy of living with our dogs is the relationship. The relationship we have with our dogs is the key to everything. Dogs learn by associations. They learn that if they come up to us and we give them a treat, we are something that is really nice because there are nice things happen when we're there. Therefore, you have to utilise this desire of the dog for treats to help build the positive relationship with your dog. For example, every time your dog comes to you, use quite a few high value treats to reinforce the dog for being with you. Your dog is just standing beside you. So what you can do is reinforce with treats for being beside you. This way your dog will always see you as a positive thing in their life. It is also, however, possible to build up negative associations between people and dogs. A classic way that I have seen negative relationships develop has been when the dog runs away and won't come to the person. When the person finally goes and gets the dog, they yell and abuse the dog, and I've even hit them. Well, is the dog going to come back next time? I don't think so. So if you have this experience where your dog runs away and then finally comes back, don't ever rouse on it. Just reinforce that behaviour that you want, which is the coming to you. Often what happens with dogs, people come home from work and discover that their dog has done something like chewed up their best pair of shoes. And they rouse at the dog and say, "No, naughty!" The dog doesn't understand what it's done. It's too long ago that it did it. And all the dog learns is to be fearful of their person. Instead, if your dog does chew up your best pair of shoes, it's a lesson to you to remember to manage problems and always put your shoes away. Generally, if we say no to a dog when they've done something we don't like, we're not teaching it anything. It doesn't know what it's done that's wrong. What we have to do as responsible pet owners is train the behaviours we want. The last component of the Fun for Life philosophy of living with dogs is training. Training is the key. We want to train behaviours that are incompatible with behaviours we don't want. For example, your dog tears out the door before you have time to get outside and put the lead on. So what you have to do is train your dog to have a really reliable sit at the door. If visitors come to your house and your dog jumps up on them, you must train your dog to sit politely and wait for the visitors to greet you. Now, to train your dog, we have a basic rule called the 3 R's. This involves request, you ask the dog to do something; response, the dog responds; and reward, you reward the dog. Specs is going to demonstrate. Specs, come! Yes. Now, I want Specs to stand. I'm going to make the request. Stand! Yes. Bex responds, and so I give her a treat. What you gain? Drop! Yes. This way, you have a dog that loves training because it is followed by positive reinforcement. Sit. Yes. We also recommend that you enroll in our Manners and Life Skills class to help your dog and you develop the relationship that you want.